So as a legacy video provider, we're very focused on entertainment in the home, in the residence. And 6 or 7 years ago, in the United States, it was all about the triple play, right? Internet, video, and landline, one sweet deal, right? Here's the promotion. You're going to sign on for a longer-term contract, and then maybe the price is going to go up when you get your 13th bill. Well, the world has changed, right? And so preferences on entertainment are not so much centered around a cable box anymore, and landlines are completely extinct, right? So it's all about that connectivity, and we see the rise in Wi-Fi enabled buildings and managed Wi-Fi on properties, and we've got a long history in bulk from our hospitality business serving hotels. And what we've learned is that residents in multifamily really strive towards that hotel experience, right? We've all checked into a Westin or another luxury brand, and we've turned on the display, we throw our bags down, and we're greeted with a very customized experience, right? It's not a traditional guide. It's a welcome. Oftentimes you'll see your name on the screen, a little bit of information about the property. The images will remind you of where you are, right? The city that you are, maybe even the exact property you're in. And then a reminder of some of the amenities maybe that are going to be promoted down in the lobby or on the property. And then some entertainment-oriented functions, and maybe even some functions that where you can check your account, check your bill, so on and so forth. So what we've tried to do in multifamily, and what we've seen a lot of others do, is really focused on that resident experience and make it more hospitality-like. And the truth is, folks don't want a cable box, in their apartment. They'd like to have the option of getting one, but as a bulk offering, what we found is that video entertainment now really needs to be, if you're going to wow the operator and you're going to wow the resident, it needs to become almost a communication portal, right? Because for a lot of people, right, this is with them all the time, 24/7. Wherever they're on property, even when they're in their unit, it's usually in their pocket or 18 inches away. And so this needs to be a way to communicate. And so with the products that we've built for multifamily, we take our traditional video experience and we've turned it into a bulk distributed app. And we call it OnStream. And it looks a little bit like this, but the idea is to create a hotel-like experience in the apartment or condo. And it's got multiple features. It's not just, a mini collection of cable channels, although that is part of it. It's primarily intended to be kind of an entertainment portal, right? What do most people do when they show up? They're bringing their streaming device with them, whether that's a Roku or some other type of device, and they want to use it. So this app needs to run on those platforms, and it needs to have that customized experience to really impress that resident with information about where they live, right, and access to the entertainment they want. And so what people want is they want to be able to do a voice search for content they heard about, on the tennis court, in the gym, while they were at work, and they don't necessarily know, what app that content lives on. So universal search across all content platforms we found to be a really, really handy utility that delights residents. If I hear about a piece of content, I have no idea what app it's on, if I subscribe to that app or not. I want to just search for it, and I want my entertainment system in my apartment to tell me where it is. I'm probably going to hit a paywall, but now I know that I don't subscribe to that particular service. It's $9.99 a month. Maybe I want to do a 7-day free trial, or maybe I want to go look for something else. That's a great utility that could generate quite a bit of goodwill back towards where I live, because that utility is being provided to me by my building, by my apartment. And then finally, the ability to actually access live content. People still do want that, but not in the way that we used to provide people content, even 4 or 5 years ago, right? It's not the 250 channel pack. It's something much, much, much smaller, primarily for news and sports and a handful of popular cable channels. And we've also found that residents, though, want the ability to upgrade. Maybe I need the Pac-12 network because I'm a Stanford grad and that's really important to me. And I really want it to be part of my entertainment suite. Or maybe, I want foreign language content, and I want that to be part of my entertainment suite. So we find that it's important to make sure that those options are available to residents as well. And so as we kind of navigate through this and take advantage of the trends in Wi-Fi enabled buildings, right, which are important to everyone, particularly in greenfield new construction, although we see it also in retrofit upgrades and applications. We want to layer on a wow entertainment piece to go along with all the other tech that everyone here on the panel has been talking about.
It's really interesting. There was a saying in kind of business circles that there are 2 ways to make money. One is to bundle, and the other is to unbundle.
Right.
And we're going through that cycle, and I think we're certainly seeing this convergence of where we kind of went through the unbundling phase with all the different streaming providers, and now it's starting to round the horn, and everyone's saying, hey, we need to figure out a way to bring this all together, make it easily searchable. I read an article recently, ESPN is saying that they have a desire to try to have on their website and on their streaming service links to all sporting events, even if it's not one that's being hosted by ESPN, because there's such a desire to, people are saying, what channel is my game on? I can't find it. And if they know, they can at least go to ESPN, and that will tell them where it's going to be. That's value.
2023 is going to be a big year for live sports, right? And it started last year when Thursday Night Football in the NFL was no longer available on traditional television. If you weren't a subscriber to Amazon Prime, you weren't watching the NFL on Thursday night. And you're going to see a lot more of that. And it's going to be less centralized, right? And you're going to find different sports properties and different teams in local markets, cutting deals with streaming providers exclusively. And, that's going to cause confusion for residents because people are passionate about their content, and sports is a great example of that.
You got Apple and the MLS deal. You've got Pac-12 trying to negotiate where are they going to land. So it certainly is a lot of uncertainty. And as property owners, depending upon where you are geographically, you want to be able to make sure you can deliver that content wherever it ends up. So you need to have some flexibility.
And perhaps the biggest one of all, right? NFL Sunday Ticket has been an exclusive on DirecTV for decades. That changed about 2 months ago, and now YouTube and YouTube Live TV are where you're going to get that content starting in the fall. So big changes in live sports.
Yeah. All right. Well, fantastic. So let's now look at any other comments on anything that we've talked about before we kind of change.
We always try to find women's soccer, and we can't find it. It's
right.
It's spread out over 6 or 7 different streaming channels, so I totally get what you're talking about.
And so what ESPN's trying to do, there's a need for that, for sure.
Yeah. And I think what you touched on is really important here. And those of you that have properties that are catering to Gen Z, the way they consume media is so different from other generations that you have to understand what they're looking for and what they're going to be willing to spend money on and what they're not willing to be able to spend money on. Because, the concept of live TV, it's like, well, which streaming platform do I have to go to get that particular live TV? Because cable is just...
That vernacular doesn't even exist
right
in that generation. Yeah.
So I think it feels like having a solution like this that they're like, I don't need cable, I just need to have access to my apps and try to make it easier so that instead of having all my apps here, I've got them on my big screen TV and then making that jump. It is kind of crazy to me as well to watch my teenagers and college age kids that they don't necessarily appreciate a big screen TV as much. They will sit there and will watch what I would say, I want to watch it on the TV, and they're watching it on their small little device. So
Yeah.
and I think a lot of that just has to do with the friction of how easy is it for them to get that to there. Because your college-age kids they're going to text you and be like, Dad, I want the login for Disney Plus. Dad, I want the login for HBO Max. And you got to decide at what point you cut the ties and be like, you got to go get your own login.